spectacular, and how the level has improved. I thought it was a nice comment from Billy Harris. He said that was the best ever tennis that I've played, and I don't think it's any coincidence that that was the 6th match of the week. And also, the latter stages of the tournament, prize money increases, points increase, and they're chasing, obviously, to try and be the champion here in Billy's case, or Josh, or the 2 girls later on. But also, they want to make the Masters at the end of the year, so every match means a lot.
Pressure's on the pundits as well, because last night, under duress, you tipped Emily Appleton to become the women's champion and Billy Harris to come through in the men's, but you were a little bit undecided. With the benefit of a good night's sleep, are they still going to be your champions come later this afternoon?
I'm so pleased you reminded me, Marcus, because I think I'd forgotten when I woke up this morning. Been digging deep, asking the experts. I can't remember who you tipped. I think you dodged that question when I asked you. I'm going to stick. I'm going to stick with Emily Appleton. I think because Beth played great yesterday, maybe higher than her usual level, where Emily, she will feel there's room for improvement. Today would be the perfect day for that. And the difficult one, which is what I said last night in the men's. But yeah, I'm stubborn. I'm from the north, Marcus, so I've got to stick with my original pick. Yeah, it's got me in a lot of trouble over the years, though.
You have a few issues to deal with, Barry. The other thing, of course, for all the players, I mean, the great benefit of this particular event is that fitness permitting, you're guaranteed 7 matches in 7 days, but you come to day 7. You need to be fit both mentally and physically, don't you?
That's the crucial word, mental. It's physically you can last. It's not when we talk about the amount of matches on the main tour right at the top level or here this week. Physically, your body is used to playing. I mean, let's be honest, it's 2 hours a day. I mean, practice weeks are 5-6 hours a day. It's mentally. And the nervous energy is not just the time spent on court, it's the time before, it's the adrenaline after, especially if you play a great match and being able to pick yourself up. And I was just thinking, actually, before we came on air, going back to Billy Harris with the 42 matches in 42 days last year, it's almost a case that if you challenge yourself, that you're going to be at it mentally for every single match you play in this competition, then I don't think you're going to be too far off earning yourself a lot of points and a lot of money and a lot of matches, which all 3 are really important because they want to invest in their tennis further down the line, and they can do that and be able to travel and boost their world ranking.
Yeah, it was a great story about Billy Harris, who did have those 42 full English breakfasts in the space of 42 days during the Pro Series. But he's changed things up a little bit. He's talking about having vegan breakfasts.
What does it say about us that I talk about the 42 matches in 42 days and you talk about the 42 breakfasts?
Well, breakfast is an important part, the most important meal of the day. Let's have a look at the order of play today, because it is a rich feast that we are understandably looking forward to. We're going to get underway in just a moment. Every match is of significance because Jack Findle-Hawkins and George Houghton, who play in the first match, are contesting 5th and 6th place. And as Barry mentioned, for every position up the table you finish in, you will get extra points, which could be hugely significant come the final week of this league series. And prize money is important as well. There's a difference of £250 between winning and losing this first match of the day on court 1. Then we've got Alyssia Barnett, who was magnificent during the group stage. She won all her matches, but she lost a really tight encounter in the semi-finals yesterday, as did Freya Christie, so they're fighting for 3rd and 4th. Anton Matusevic was on court late last night in a real big hitter of a contest, which anyone who was lucky enough to see it will not forget in a hurry, and that's why Billy Harris, who won the matches, through to play in the final. Dan Cox and Anton Matusevic contest 3rd and 4th place. Beth Gray won a thriller in her semi-final yesterday, and that's why she's in the final against the red-hot favourite, I think it's fair to say, but don't underestimate Beth Gray. Emily Appleton's been in fantastic form this week, and we finish things off not before 5 o'clock with the men's final. Josh Paris against Billy Harris, which it could be a problem for the commentators. Paris against Harris.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Josh Harris and Billy Paris
at some point.
At some stage.
At some point, for sure. OK, well, that's to come. But let us start, first of all, with this battle for 5th and 6th in the men's. And waiting over our shoulder, just behind the curtain, is Jack Findle-Hawkins, who really caught the eye yesterday, produced a fantastic performance to make it through to the 5th and 6th place playoff. He's 26 years of age. He comes from Devon, and he beat Mark Whitehouse 6-3, 6-2 to put himself in the frame to finish in 5th place. That will give him 8 points, £1,500 as well. He's ranked at 910, but he's been up to 635. He loves to come forward. There's going to be a really interesting clash of styles actually between the two players today. And we know that when he was 5 years of age, he presented flowers to the Queen, and I understand that Buckingham Palace has ground to a halt this morning. All the residents are glued to their televisions watching their favourite player. He's going to have his work cut out, though, because his opponent is a very talented performer, as we've seen several times over the course of the past few days. George Houghton is the man walking onto court now. He's 22 years of age. He comes from Guildford, trains in Loughborough, though he studied sport and exercise science here. He won 3 and lost 2 matches in the group, and yesterday he saw off Mason Recchi to move into the 5th place match. Alex McNaughton is his coach. He won a silver medal at the British University Games. He's a keen golfer as well. He's also a dog lover. A lot of the players here appear to be very keen dog lovers. They say all their dogs are watching television, which is fantastic because we want as many people as possible, animal, human, whatever, to watch what's going to be another terrific match. I mentioned it's going to be a clash of styles today because one player's going to hold back. We know that Jack likes to come forward whenever possible, so that should be good on the eye, shouldn't it?
Yeah, and we've seen in the last few years that serve and volley tennis isn't dead. You can have success, and most important thing when you do come forward is you've got to have a presence, you've got to have a belief, and yeah, I think it will be a match where both players will be looking forward to it. And I think as well, in the situation we got, I think start's really crucial. I'm sure both respective coaches have probably said to the players, energy.
Yeah, you do need that, of course, when you're playing for a 7th time in a space of 7 days. One of the points we've mentioned several times is the fact that, of course, the players are calling their own lines. I am still waiting for a really controversial moment. Not that we're necessarily advocating having too many controversial moments, but I'm a bit surprised. I haven't really seen anything remotely untoward up until now.
Well, yesterday got a little spiky, actually, didn't it? Dan Cox and Paris.
There was a moment, yes.
And I think that was it's a really good example because you get so used to umpires and lines people calling your lines, but you have to call, and you have to call straight away. And the mistake that Josh made, he says, I think. As soon as you say I think, then, of course, the umpire and Dan Cox picked up on it. And then it became a little bit of mind games, and that's what you want. I mean, right, it's you're trying to win a tennis match, but you're also trying to be tougher than your opponent. Yeah. And I'm all for that in sport. As long as it doesn't cross the line, which I think there might have been a few players, Marcus, back in the day. Maybe an Ili Nastasi would be someone that I could think of who would have certainly...
Yes, of course. I mean, that's happened throughout the history of the sport. The fact that these guys know each other so well perhaps helps in that regard. But Barry, I mean, I remember you telling stories about when you used to play your brother when you were growing up. And actually, although you're very, very close, those can be the most awkward matches in so many ways.
You don't want me to repeat that story, do you?
Well, yeah, go on. It's a good story. It's a good story that reflects better on you, I think, than your brother if you're telling it correctly.
I'm not sure it does. 3 years between us, and my brother will say that I never beat him. But yeah, I think I was about 8 or 9, and my brother absolutely killed me, which you would expect with a 3-year gap. Anyway, as he's walking to the net, having beaten me 6-2, 6-love, he's celebrating as he's won a Wimbledon title. I mean, it is just, that's it. That's the holy grail. And I happen to have a ball in my pocket. And believe it or not, I was quite fiery when I was that age. I took the ball out of my pocket and tried to hit the ball straight at his head.
And?
Unfortunately, I missed.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I stressed, unfortunately. My parents, it's great, actually. We talk about it even now. And my parents, they sort of stood at the sidelines, obviously disapproving of what I did. But actually, in many ways, you've got to have that little bit fire in the belly.
Yeah. And, of course, we don't expect the players to be firing balls at each other.
No.
But when you're close, and there's a lot of pride at stake. And, of course, they know they could play each other several more times during the course of the UK Pro League. So if you can get one up at this stage, who knows how important that might be heading towards the finals week.
Yeah, I think head-to-head becomes even more crucial. And I think it's very relevant when you think of the cricket in the India-England series. When you have so many test matches back-to-back, once you get into the head of when facing the spinners, and I'm wondering whether that is something that could apply. You know, I mean, they could be playing each other twice in a week's time when number 2 starts.
Yeah, well, I sincerely hope that this match isn't as one-sided as Test 2, 3 and 4 were in India. OK, I know you're still wavering a little bit with regards to the respective champions. Who's going to win this one?
Well, we're right next to Jack's coach, so I have to say Jack, because George's coach can't hear me.
You're such a people pleaser.
Am I right? Is Jack going to win?
Well, of course his coach is going to say he's going to win. I hope he would anyway.
All
right, Barry, thank you very much.
So I'll go for George then.
OK. Oh, changed his mind already. You get up to the commentary box. Waiting for you there is Gigi Salmon. Good morning, Gigi.
Thank you very much, Marcus. Good morning, everyone. Welcome for a final time this week to the Dan Maskell Tennis Centre. And what a fabulous lineup. We've had incredible tennis every day, but today is about final placings. It's about who walks away with the 2 trophies and where the players finish in this first of 8-week round-robin tournament. In your picture there, George Houghton, one of the younger players at just 22 years of age, coming through box B, and he's up against Jack Findel-Hawkins. Now, this is the 5th, 6th place playoff. So in terms of points, if you finish 5th, it's 8 points and £1,500. For 6th place, it's 7 points and £1,250. And then don't forget, in a couple of weeks' time, 24 players will again be taking part in the UK Pro League. Following this match, we've got a couple of contests for the 3rd and 4th place finishes. And then our finals, Beth Gray against Emily Appleton and Josh Paris against Billy Harris. Now, these two, Jack Findle-Hawkins in your picture there, he's the British number 24. I've got a little bit of history going back to 2019 when they played in pre-Wimbledon qualifying, and on that day it was George who came through in straight sets. George a little disappointed that his friends can't come and watch him because he was a student until recently at Loughborough. He still stays at the university and trains and coaches here. So a little bit disappointed that his friends that are so close, as this is a closed event, cannot come and see how he gets on. But I'm sure they will be watching and cheering him on up against Jack Findle-Hawkins. Now, both of these players had a mixed role through the group. In box A for Jack Findle-Hawkins, there were 3 defeats and 3 victories. And for George Houghton, just a couple of defeats. Got off to a really good start with a couple of victories to settle himself in. And it has been interesting listening to the players, how their bodies have been reacting. For some of these players, this is their first action, like George Houghton in 2021, and suddenly you're asking the body, maybe it's fine to ask it of a 22-year-old body, to play 7 matches in 7 days. So interesting to hear how they have felt through these matches and how their recovery has been, which we know is such an important part of tennis, getting the body back firing and ready to go again. So George Houghton, he's got Alex McNaughton as his coach, courtside. First of 5 matches we have for you on court 1. It's a really strong order of play, and looking forward to bringing all those matches to you. And I'm very happy to say, I'm just checking he's not eating because I got told off yesterday. Speaking to him when he was, Barry Cowan.
Good morning. I never tell you off, Gigi.
Yeah, a little bit. How are you, Barry?
Yeah, very good, thanks.
First set, George Houghton to serve.
So with George Houghton, that gets things underway. The players are set, everyone in position, no line judges or ball boys or ball girls. Looking to keep the COVID bubble as secure and small as possible, which is why, as I mentioned, it is a behind closed doors event. Safety the priority at this time.
$15 love. $30 love.
First point on the board for Jack Findle-Hawkins, who, Barry, you have gone with as the winner today, under somewhat pressure at the time.
Yeah, I felt I just couldn't defend his coach.
That is the danger when you're so close. Well, I'll find out soon if Barry's going to change that now. He's in the safe confines of the commentary
put me
box.
on the spot again, who I thought was going to win the finals.
You know Marcus will always put you on the spot.
40,
I just can't
50.
believe I told the viewers about my story about trying to hit my brother.
I don't see that as you, Barry. I was actually quite shocked.
There is a red mist every now and again. Nice forehand there.
Good way to set yourself in, holding your first service game. But we've talked about this through the week. As nice as someone can be, you need that streak inside. That's the. How often do we talk about players being too nice? I remember Alyssia Barnett, when she went to university in America, she went Acton Lace today. Her coaches said she's just too nice. She's so nice to everybody. Yeah. You need that streak in you. Yeah,
I actually learned that lesson. A big lesson when I went to South America as a junior. I travelled for 10 weeks around South America, and it was an amazing learning experience of what life was going to be like as a tour player, coming from the UK, where, let's be honest, pretty spoiled. And I remember the first week we were travelling from Venezuela to Colombia, and then we were checking in. And you know how we're quite orderly, aren't we? You know, you just take your turn. Got near the front, and all of a sudden I see that 10 players just literally barged me out the way.
Jack Findle-Hawkins to serve.
Because a lot of the flights there, it's first come, first served. Well, it certainly was back then.
I was going to say you learnt from an early age, but by this point you'd already tried to hit your brother, so it was already in there.
Yeah,
just needed to be brought out.
I think you do have to have it.
Is there such a thing as being too nice
15
to be a winner?
Well, I think Federer is a great example. There's such a humble guy who's never changed from the moment I first came across him, actually as a 16-year-old, but as a lot of competitive edge in there.
Oh, he was a racket smasher at a young age. Rank 910, Jack Findle-Hawkins, 26 years of age.
Oh, what a shot that was. That was a good volley from Findle-Hawkins, but easy as you like with that overhead, that lob over Findle-Hawkins.
6'1", had to get it up and over, which he did. George Houghton. His ranking is around 1,500 in the world, but still young at 22. Jack Findle-Hawkins is now based out of Nottingham University to go to the University of North Florida. Went there at the age of 18, went out to visit the first time he'd ever been to America, and decided this is the route he wanted to take.
Yeah, it's a smart move. A big supporter of very good juniors going to American college, 3 years, 4 years. Just evolve as tennis players, but also evolve as people. Immensely mature. It can be the rush to get out and be a pro too soon.
Net.
I think in general,
second serve.
It's about a 10-year career. So it doesn't really matter when it starts.
Lovely point coming in off off the back of the serve, Findel-Hawkins.
That's classic Findle-Hawkins. Hit a lot of those second serves into the body, which always used to be the case with certain volleys. He's come forward on the second serve and then that elegant looking volley.
It's been as high as 635 in the world in December 2018, Findle-Hawkins. And as he's within the 25 top male players, it meant during lockdown he was able to train at the National Tennis Centre if he so wished. It was open to the top 25 men's and women's players, which is an absolute lifeline when everything was shut down.
Tough if you're number 26.
Deuce.
Just going back to having an edge, and the story that Michael Stick told me a few years ago, and he was saying that when he was just starting to emerge on the tour and become a force,
really nicely played.
He was in the gym, he was on the bike, and Lendl walks in and goes, "Get off, that's my bike." And he knew straight away.
To get off the bike?
No, he knew straight away what Lendl was all about.
Yeah.
Lendl knew that he was becoming a threat. And it was a challenge.
First service.
And you got to stand your ground.
I think I would have got off the bike.
That's why Gigi played the Windsor under 10s.
If only.
Game.
And good hold from Findle-Hawkins. You know what you're going to get from Jack Findle-Hawkins. He will serve and volley, get forward, just finding his rhythm. These are cool conditions. I was going to say cold, but I'll keep it at cool. And the courts, from what we've heard from the players and the coaches, are quite slow this week.
I think the balls as well. That's a lovely looking single-hander. It's a bit of a throwback this match, isn't it? Serve and volley against a single-handed backhand. The single-handers in the men's game.
First serve.
Reborn.
I know everyone said it was going to die out, and every time I spoke to a coach, they said I'd never teach a single-hander, but we're flush with them.
That's lovely. Really interesting you say that, Gigi, because I had a conversation with a coach a few years ago. I'm not going to mention their name, but and it was after a match at Wimbledon where a left-hander was playing against someone who was about 5'2", and he never served and volleyed. And I asked the question, so why doesn't he serve and volley? And his response was, well, no one serves and volleys. But that shouldn't mean it's acceptable.
No.
Brilliant. Different is good.
I just felt whenever I spoke to former, current player, former, current coach, they would always say, no, I wouldn't teach it, I wouldn't teach it. They'd go for stability of the two hands, and it was just amazing how negative the response was to actually teaching or encouraging a single-handed backhand.
Pros and cons to both.
Sergio.
There's no doubt that when you first pick up a racket, it's much easier as a two-hander because the strength.
I think that was with Denis Shapovalov one day. I think he was about 7 or 8. One hand came off the backhand, and his mother, who's a massive influence in his tennis life, still is, just said, let's just wait and see, and the second hand never went back.
Yeah. Well, that's good coaching.
First break point opportunity of this 5th and 6th place playoff.
Two matches today in a row for the umpire. A double shift.
Hope he's got a warm jacket on. Yeah, good serving from George Houghton.
All these umpires, you get hours in the chair. Hopefully you climb the ladder as an umpire.
There's much debate at the moment about the future of line judges and if they will ever
Where do you stand on that?
I do miss when commentating looking for limbs. Suddenly, if there's a tight call, I'm just looking for an arm to go out or not. So, but it feels awful. It's such a wonderful profession, and it gives people a profession. But good play from Findle-Hawkins. But if I'm honest, I haven't missed them. It seems things have just gone as they have been. But it would be a shame because it's a route to being in the chair. It's a route to a career. It's a living for a number of players. But I just get the feeling that we will see less and less of them.
Advantage, Houghton.
Basically in agreement, with what you were saying. I think we should never lose sight of the fact that you do need umpires, and it's a start of your umpiring career is being a linesperson.
Game, Houghton.
13 minutes in, 3 games played in just the one break point, but we remain on serve, and it's George Houghton who leads by 2 games to 1 in this first match of the final day. Welcome back to the Dan Maskell Tennis Centre at Loughborough University. The final day of the first week of the UK Pro League 2021. They are playing for points. They are playing for prizes. In terms of cash prizes, the winner here knows that they will get 8 points on the board, with the ultimate goal qualifying in the top 9 for finals week in November. So 8 points for the winner here, 7 points for the loser. Sounds awful saying loser because they're all winning, they're all getting points and money that will help fund their careers as hopefully things start to open up and tournaments resume and everyone can get back out on the road.
But even when they do get back on the road, there's still a real attraction to playing these types of events because And we've talked a lot about it, Gigi, 7 matches in 7 days, but you might need to play 7 matches in 2.5 months on tour.
It's the beauty of the UK Pro League, and in a couple of weeks' time they can do it all again and get another guaranteed 7 matches and some guaranteed income. It's one thing when we've spoken to the players this week how appreciative they are of this tournament, of the ability to have the matches and to earn money and to be playing for something, because every match means something. They're not out here just playing for fun, they're playing for points, they're playing for money, and there's the end game, there's the finals week.
.30, 15.
Just to continue what we were talking about before the break about lines people, not every tournament can afford Hawkeye, so you need lines people. And certainly challengers are not going to have Hawkeye, or futures aren't going to have Hawkeye, so unless you're getting people off the street.
Net.
We'd end up with some strange calls.
I've been to some tournaments where you arrive and they're training the lines people the day before the tournament. And then that first day,
14,
you look, because obviously lines people, the Grand Slams, they have lines people on every line, but not on smaller tournaments. And then you look up and you realise that they're actually standing on the tram line, the doubles tram line. No, we're playing singles.
Houghton doing well though with his return of serve to
48,
to stop Findel-Hawkins from coming forward. Going to have that weight of shot and depth, because Findle-Hawkins will try and come in off the serve as often as possible.
Yeah, technically he's very sound, Houghton. A nice game. Solid.
Game, Findle-Hawkins.
He went full-time,
2 games
George
on.
Houghton, after completing his education at Loughborough in 2020, but as I mentioned, still resides here and is able to train here, and says he prefers doubles. He likes, so we see this with some players, he prefers the team side of things, whereas with Nick Kyrgios famously thrives in a team atmosphere, but he finds it harder when it's singles. And George Houghton said, look, I like having, he's represented Great Britain's universities at Wimbledon. He likes having his teammates around him.
15 love.
Did he break his... No. It's a poor miss, really, from Findle-Hawkins. He got into a dominant position with the return.
Chose to go to university, George Houghton, to give himself options in case tennis doesn't work out. Just falling off that forehand. Wonderful touch at the net.
15-30.
Findle-Hawkins.
Absolutely the right place to put that volley. Short. Nicely played.
tiny opening here.
$15-14.
Well, he had a break point in the previous Houghton service game. Now a couple for Findel-Hawkins to take a look at. Got a good win on day one, Findel-Hawkins, against Anton Matusevic, the highest ranked player in the men's draw here in straight sets. Oh, excellently played the half volley, charging forward as soon as he could. And Jack Findel-Hawkins makes the breakthrough. 5 games played, and Findel-Hawkins leads by 3-2 with the break. Match 1 of 5 on day 7, the final day of week 1 of the UK Pro League, and it's Jack Findel-Hawkins with the advantage and the early break, and they'll be looking to get that consolidated as soon as possible. Just been asking the question of the Houghton serve and was able to make the breakthrough. Game number 5, having had an opportunity in game 3. Get a little extra bit of time because they're always gathering up the balls, making sure they're not going to roll their ankle on one if it's in the middle of the court.
And that has happened in the past. That was that instant at Wimbledon when the ball fell out of, I think it was a lady player, wasn't it? And I think she twisted her ankle badly.
15 love.
A couple of rolled ankles this week. It is a danger.
Is this a ball cover? Have I made that up? Most of the time I do.
Loose facts.
30 love.
Recently became a mum for the first time. Good serving from Findel-Hawkins. He's won 5 ITF doubles titles, Findel-Hawkins. 2 of them in 2018 when he was at his highest singles ranking. Does well with the overhead that time, having missed one earlier in the match. 3 doubles titles in 2019. He won Great Britain's first ever gold medal at the University Masters.
$40-15.
Took up a really aggressive stance. Findel-Hawkins closes out the game and with it the consolidation for a 4-2 first set lead.
Yeah, it's becoming a real feature of his tennis this morning. Go deep and then short. He's dangerous when he's attacking the net.
15 love. Love.
Spectacular shot. The problem is he's sort of trying to cling on at the moment. Findel-Hawkins play with a bit more freedom, even more freedom. Now he's a break up.
And 14 love. Game, Houghton. Findle-Hawkins
Clean hold
leads 4 games
from
to 3.
George Houghton. But it is Jack Findle-Hawkins who has the break, therefore the advantage, leading the first set by 4 games to 3.
Time.
First of 5 matches for your enjoyment today, coming to you from the Dan Maskell Tennis Centre at Loughborough University. Following this, we'll have Alyssia Barnett and Freya Christie playing off for the 3rd and 4th place finish, and then it's another 3rd and 4th place battle with Anton Matusevic against Dan Cox, and then the finals: Beth Gray against Emily Appleton, and Josh Paris against Billy Harris. Appleton unbeaten through the week, looking to make it 7 from 7. So some intriguing matches to come. Findle-Hawkins here now in this first match with the break and the advantage at 4-3.
15 love. For 30 love.
It's causing me a lot of problems, that Houghton. And the difficulty, I think he feels a little bit rushed, but if you stand further back in the Findle-Hawkins' serve and volley, and then you can get even closer to the net for that first volley. So it's always a balance you've got to get right.
Forty love. Game, Findle-Hawkins.
Just putting a little bit of extra pressure now on the 22-year-old, because Jack
leads 5 games to
Findle-Hawkins
3.
is asking the question of George Houghton, who now has to serve to stay in the first set, so no room for error for the former Loughborough student.
Love 15.
Facilities here are amazing, aren't they, at Loughborough? One of the sport universities.
Love 30.
And the pressure telling a little bit here on Houghton. Really opened the door for Findel-Hawkins to get the job done here.
Sebastian Coe, Loughborough.
$15.30.
Tanny Gray-Thompson, Paula Radcliffe.
It's been great driving across the campus to get here every day. Getting lost a little bit.
We all got lost last night. It was quite hilarious.
Yes, there was a convoy of us lost.
Well, they closed one of the barriers. They knew we were coming.
And one of the gates.
Yeah.
And we had a real
Well, that's what I meant, yeah.
Well, no, there was the barrier shut and the gate shut. Yeah.
30 all.
Oh. They flushed the return and almost hit it too well.
I think wonderfully, though, Marcus was leading, and I think we changed that, which I think was the smart decision.
What, that we changed from him being the leader?
Yes.
Yeah.
We needed to get back. Yeah, excellent play from Houghton.
40,
Under a little bit of pressure at 30 all and serving to stay in the set.
Yeah, doing to Findle-Hawkins what Findle-Hawkins has done a lot to Houghton today. Beautifully played. Good feel.
Really well played. Beautiful backhand to finish off the point in the game.
Findel-Hawkins leads.
Survive a little bit of pressure. George Houghton was having to stay in the set, and now he just flips that question back to his opponent, Jack Findle-Hawkins, who got the break, came through in the 5th game to get the break, having had a break point in the game before of the 22-year-old. Alex McNaughton, you can see just to the side of George Houghton, his coach on court. Jack Findle-Hawkins going it alone. I mentioned that he's based out of Nottingham University. And there is Alex McNaughton, coach and confidant of George today. He couldn't hear you, could he, when you were talking pre-match?
No.
Right.
Sometimes there's method in the madness.
But how do you feel now? We've moved through to this stage and we've played 9 games in terms of what you're seeing from these two.
Well, it's the attacking player in terms of Findle-Hawkins that is having the edge. And I think that's really important that for Houghton, if he is to break here, I don't think you can rely on hoping that Findle-Hawkins is going to miss a couple of volleys. I think you need often, when you're in a match like this, you've got to come up with a big return. You've got to rock the player that feels that he's the one dominating. As I'm sure Findle-Hawkins is saying to himself that, you know, every time I play my game and I get forward, then the match is in my hands. And that's why I think for Houghton, he just probably needs to rip a return. And if one goes past you, then all of a sudden it might just make you think twice about coming forward. And as soon as a volley then starts to slightly hesitate, then you've got a chance to be able to turn the tables.
Serving for the set, Jack Findle-Hawkins.
$15 love.
Good numbers on serve for Findle-Hawkins.
Yeah, long. Circle. 15-all.
Wow.
He got it.
I thought the umpire called long.
There was immediate turn to the chair for some clarification, because the player's calling their own lines, but we do have the chair umpire who can make a final call.
Good play.
$15-30.
No, he's got his teeth into the returning game now. Bit of pressure. Yet to face a break point.
But he's opened the door ajar. Maybe put a little bit of doubt in the mind of Findle-Hawkins. That was a wonderful 1-2 push.
30-all.
It's a really good example. Just making returns. It's not going to work. He's not going to miss that type of volley. A player that is comfortable moving forward. A nice, simple ball toss in front lends itself to the serve and volley.
Wide.
Lovely return to the feet.
13-14.
Findle-Hawkins, and George Houghton gets his first break point of the match.
Where's Findle-Hawkins going to go here with the first serve? Wide or middle? I'd be surprised if he went body. Feels wide.
Back on serve. Takes his first opportunity. Still all to play for in the first set at 5-all.
Yeah, 2 of the points he won. That's because of the good returns down at the feet of Findle-Hawkins.
$15 love. 30 love. Let first service. Forty love.
In full flow. Houghton.
Game Houghton.
And for the first time since the third game of
Houghton
this
leads 6 games to 5.
first set, it's George Houghton who's got the edge, and now he'll put that little bit of pressure on Findel-Hawkins and put him in the position of now, instead of serving for it, you're serving to stay in it.
A totally different shift in mindset. Sort of go back, Gigi, to the 5-3-30 all when that is the time to try and really push for the double break, and he just, I wouldn't say he was a little slack with the return, but just because you're in that strong position at 5-3 doesn't mean really that it's a throwaway game or a couple of throwaway points. Yes. Good job, Houghton, to just hang in there.
They're very calm characters, aren't they? We're not getting too much or any emotion.
The poker face.
Really are. Findle-Hawkins looks very relaxed and has a very laid-back way about him. Likes to play golf, George Houghton, but hasn't played a lot recently, so his handicap's not as good
What's
as
he off? Because we had a 9 yesterday. We had someone off a 12.
Yeah, I don't think it's great. No, I don't think he wanted to reveal, but it's gone down.
Oh, so
some people's
he likes
lockdown
golf, but he's
is
not revealing his handicap.
well. It's just he hasn't been able to play a lot.
Okay.
So it's not as
Yeah.
good as he would like it to be.
Well, that's the story of every golfer.
Love 15.
A complete momentum shift now. The seeds of doubt have been planted in Findle-Hawkins.
Yeah, it's a good example of that shot selection there. I think when you've lost the last 3 games, opening point of a service game, staying in first set, you've got to hit the approach and come forward.
15 all.
Good use of the wide serve from Findle-Hawkins. Good to see that little fist bump as well.
Yeah, much better. Good aggressive 1-2 from Findle-Hawkins.
All.
I'm so surprised he made that decision. For me, that's the volley it's got to be a backhand. He sort of ran round the backhand to hit the forehand volley, which then meant he was exposed. I think you hit the backhand volley, you either go down the line or you go cross court. Then you can cover the net easier. A bit of an error there from Findle-Hawkins.
Oof.
30-40.
Return onto the shoelaces of Findle-Hawkins, and it brings up a set point from George Houghton, who, remember, was a breakdown.
That's a brilliant transformation. How much more aggressive now he's been with the return. He feels he's making a real impression. He's got to stand up to be counted, Findle-Hawkins.
Juice.
Love to have that one back. It's one of those, I think, as a player, it's set point and actually you just snatch at it. But he had a lot more time than I think he realised in Houghton.
Advantage, Findle-Hawkins.
Yeah, good hold.
Game, Findle-Hawkins.
Good hold from Findle-Hawkins.
6 games all, first set tiebreak.
And the first set will come down to the tiebreak.
First of a few today, I think.
A lot of the players have said, look, we know each other so well. On any given day, anyone can win. We know each other's games, we know how we play. A lot of the time they practice an awful lot together, which is why we're getting such close contests.
That's where you ideally want all these players to just keep improving, keep getting better.
1-0, Findle-Hawkins.
A mini break for Findle-Hawkins to start things off in this tie break.
Good start, good energy, good intent. That for me was the difference when you think of the match last night, the final match with Billy Harris against Matusovic. Harris came out, made statements early in that match, tie-break. Matusovic just never really got going.
There'll be an action later today, Anton Matusovic against Dan Cox. That's the third match we have for you of the 5 on court 1.
Findle-Hawkins.
I think you got away with it, actually, because I don't think I asked you who you thought was going to win.
What?
This match, or the final.
Or any matches.
Yeah.
Are you asking me?
Yes, absolutely.
Can I tell you in a couple of minutes for this one?
2-1.
I think George Houghton will win this match.
Do you like to disagree with me a lot?
But you only went for Findle-Hawkins because you were next to his coach. Who have you gone for in the finals?
Emily Appleton. And
unbeaten this week.
Just went for Billy Harris.
He's got the head-to-head on Josh Paris. He did play exceptionally well last night.
Findle-Hawkins.
Lovely to hear that he said that's his best match he's played.
Yeah.
In his career.
Can he keep that level up? It's backing it up. It's playing that way again today.
Excellent. Good. Aggressive play.
Oof. 4-1, Findle-Hawkins.
Well, that was... Well, it could have been in, it could have been out. It's such a hard call as well. When you've just hit the serve and you're having to make that instant reaction. But Findel-Hawkins will take it.
A 4-2, Findle-Hawkins.
Has the slight advantage Findle-Hawkins as they change ends. Not long to wait till week 2 of the UK Pro League.
I have to actually ask a few of them what their plans are for the next week.
Recovery?
Yeah, a few days off, and then you, I guess,
Go
ideally
again?
work on a few aspects of your game, do a little bit of training. I think that's also important.
You can take a lot out of 7 matches in 7 days, winning or losing. Hopefully work on a few bits and pieces, and then you move into week 2.
Yep.
Five, 2. Findle-Hawkins. Six, 2.
First double fault
Findle-Hawkins.
of the match, and with it, set points for Jack Findle-Hawkins.
Six, 3. Findle-Hawkins.
Now this is the chance for him. 2 set points on your serve. Don't wait for things to happen. You've got to seize the moment. A couple of aggressive plays. Safe bet that we're going to see him serve and volley. Interesting, it looked like he was going body there.
Six, 4, Findle-Hawkins.
It's one of the most infuriating misses as a tennis player when you go for the drop volley and you miss it wide.
Reflected in the facial expression of Jack Findle-Hawkins. Got another opportunity here in a serve to close it out.
Game and
excellent way to close out the set for Jack Findle-Hawkins.
7 games to 6.
So it's the British number 24 that has the advantage and has the edge. First set on the tiebreak, 7-6. Hello, Jack.
Hi there, how's it going?
Yeah, good. We're going to come to you, we're just on a break, we'll come to you in about 20 seconds if that's all right. I'm happy to say that we can go courtside and have a chat with Jack Findle-Hawkins. And Jack, having been a break up and then a set point down, very happy to have come through that first set. If you could break it down for us, the good and the bad for you in set one.
Yeah, I mean, came out well, started well, which hasn't really been the theme this week. I've normally gone down early, so it was a bit unusual to be ahead. But no, just, you know, tennis is always full of ups and downs, so got to stay with it, and was happy to come through that one.
Jack, it's Barry here. Well played in that first set. Give us a little insight to your thoughts about when you serve and volley, when you stay back, when you decide to serve into the body, and when you decide to try and hit the big serve.
Just trying to keep it nice and varied, really. It's all about, you know, for me, trying to get that next volley and that first volley ahead. So just trying to use the spots and really pay attention to the score counts and play the percentages at the right time.
And you're using the drop volley quite a lot. Is that tactic?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know any other volley, unfortunately.
And how's the body feeling? 7th match in 7 days.
I can be a little bit more honest afterwards, I think. But yeah, it's always tough going 7-7, but it's great to be out here.
Jack, thank you for your time. We'll let you get ready for set 2.
Thank you very much.
It's a wonderful style of play that he has. It's nice to see these serve volley. As you said, it's a little bit of a throwback.
Time.
We don't see it as much.
Yeah. I wanted to ask him about his headset. Did you notice?
One bit the other way.
Yes.
But I've noticed that with all of them. I think,
really?
Yes, I think that's
Is that
it.
is that deliberate?
I don't know, but I've noticed it in a few of them.
Nothing escapes Gigi Salmon.
Second set, Findel-Hawkins to serve.
We might have baffled him if you start talking to him about headsets, because he's in the zone, he's focused.
Yeah, I think he's underselling himself really about the volley, because it was the deep volley that won in the set.
Yeah. And we have to remember to ask him about his body afterwards. He said he'd be more honest afterwards. And I think he's definitely up for some recovery next week.
That's why it's really important now. In your mind, it's the last set. Yeah, big push. Real extra energy, you know, even if you feel like you've got to fake it right at the beginning.
Love 15.
Well, that's a impressive start, isn't it, from Houghton?
All.
Nice balance coming forward.
For 30-15. $40-15.
Should have asked him, coming from Devon, where it's jam and cream or cream and jam.
What?
On scones.
Oh, which one first?
Yeah, clotted cream and jam, or
I would say
it looks like neither for you.
No, it's neither for me.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not a scone clotted cream fan?
No.
No.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you a scone or a scone man?
Scone.
It's like potato. Yeah. I think you really would have baffled him. If we're talking about his volleys, when he comes in, his mindset, his body. jam or cream? He would have been like, I don't know where we're going. How to get him out of the zone.
Yeah.
What was the reason for the second set? Well, I was thrown off a little bit.
Game, Findle-Hawkins, first game, second set.
Good start. Positive beginning. The numbers very, very similar, as you would expect. A set that was decided on the tie break, just a couple of points difference, and almost identical.
It's an important game now, this, for George Houghton. He's on a ball hunt. But some new experiences for these players. 7 matches in 7 days. It's being televised, so you've got the cameras around you. They will be used to having ball boys and girls and line judges at tournaments, and they don't have those there speaking to us with the headsets at the end of sets.
But again,
15 love.
when we did the Battle of the Brits, and I asked some of the players after, and actually, and also some of the coaches were saying that the players liked it because it just made them think differently about the matches.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to, when you're playing matches, to sort of get in that state of mind where everything just is automatic in a positive way, but also automatic in a negative way.
Yeah. And maybe you don't have too much time to dwell on things because you're having a conversation as well.
And if anyone asks you about scones or scones,
it's Barry.
Help you.
Just thrown a little curveball. I do find it interesting. We don't have it that often. We also have it at the next gen finals when the players put on headsets. And I think for me, the most interesting player I've ever heard on a headset is Taylor Fritz, the American. The way he breaks things down, the way he's analysing. He was almost coaching himself in what he was saying. It's really, really interesting listening to the conversations he was having with his coach about his game.
$40-50.
Tsitsipas when he broke the headset.
Yeah.
That was a hilarious moment.
I think Alex de Minaur was talking about where they were going to go and have coffee.
Yeah.
So there was nothing about the tennis.
$40-30.
Been on court for over an hour in this match. Very tight first set, as you saw from the numbers. First of 5 matches that we have for you on court 1, including the 2 finals at the end of the day.
Net, second serve.
stunning. And how quick. It's almost like he knew where that first serve was going from Houghton, that he was there, ready, waiting for it. And they just clocked it, and then it was just the instincts and the free flowing to just come forward.
Oh, great. Really good from Findle-Hawkins to bring up a break point. We said this was going to be a very important service game for George Houghton, and now under pressure facing break point.
It certainly seemed like he took his eye off the ball there as he was hitting that backhand volley, Houghton. That's why he mishit it.
Juice.
He dealt with that forehand impressively.
Oh, stunning from Findle-Hawkins, the defense of Findle-Hawkins, and then to come up with the pass to win the point.
Well, if he was saying his body is hurting, which he sort of gave the impression it was, well, not bad, is it? Inspired shot.
Coursing through the veins right now. Second opportunity to break in this game.
Feel good when you hit a shot like that.
He's got a second serve to look at. Can apply a little bit more pressure on Houghton. There it is. Took advantage of the shorter second serve, stepped in aggressive and gets the break.
Findle-Hawkins leads 2-0 to love.
Now, single-handed pass, double-handed return winner. The variation going on the back end. So he obviously had two different coaches when he was a junior then, CG. One telling him a single-handed back and the other telling him a two-hander.
Maybe he just couldn't decide, just do both.
And maybe he's been watching Tsonga. Tsonga likes that one-handed pass.
$15 love.
Two of his matches, Jack Findle-Hawkins have gone the distance. Both occasions came out on the, or three matches, actually his three matches that went the distance, he came out on the losing side of all three. The importance of getting the job done for Findle-Hawkins in straight sets. And he's got the set and the break. Defeats Luke Johnson, Oscar Waitman and Josh Paris.
15 all.
Remember, they're playing for 5th and 6th place in the table. This being the first week, the winner will take away 8 points and £1,500. His opponent will come away with 7 points and £1,250.
Plus the 500 appearance fee.
Yeah.
40-50.
In total control now.
Did a course in sports management, Findle-Hawkins, out in North Florida. Having to manage the body this week.
$40-30.
Oh, it's a lovely 1-2 punch, and it consolidates the Findle-Hawkins break, leading now by a set and a break, 3-love. All to do for George Houghton, the 22-year-old former Loughborough University student. He's setting a break down to this man here, Jack Findle-Hawkins, the 26-year-old from Devon, now based out of Nottingham University. First of 5 matches for you today. This will be followed by a third, fourth place playoff between Alyssia Barnett and Freya Christie. George Houghton, who 4 wins and 2 defeats, on his way to finishing 3rd in Box B. Victories against Andrew Watson, Mark Whitehouse, Sean Hodkin and Mason Recce. A couple of defeats to Billy Harris, one of our finalists today, and Dan Cox. Cox, who went unbeaten through the week.
$15 love. $15 all.
Just to put it into context for both these two, the prize money that's on offer this week, and you look at, and they've played on the tour as a pro. George Houghton's $4,191. Findle-Hawkins 24,000. So this is a good week's pay.
Good ball to the feet of Findle-Hawkins. And week 1 of 8, possibly 9 if you finish in the top 9. not having to worry about travel restrictions, and everyone is tested, everything is safe and secure here. But you take out the flights and going to different countries, and that's the big discussion at the moment. How do you plan a schedule when you maybe can't get into a country, or if you get in, maybe you can't get out for a while?
I mean, I actually feel really at the moment your rankings are not that important for players
40,
that aren't
50.
right at the top. I think if you're sort of 400, 500, as long as you just keep a ranking, I think that's the most important thing. But because of so many restrictions, not so sure it's... You've got to make that difficult decision. So the opportunities to just play matches in your home country.
And earn money.
Have to deal with it. Tricky
40,
questions from
30.
Gigi Salmon.
Oh, hang on, you were going to ask him the jam or cream one.
Game Houghton.
He's got a game on the board. George Houghton.
Findel-Hawkins leads 3 games to 1.
Just keep it to the one break.
Yeah, it was the one break in the first set, and he ended up having a set point with that forehand pass. And he broke back when Findle-Hawkins served for the set.
Oof.
Love 15.
It's a lovely backhand.
Yeah, it's a really impressive shot. Sort of tap on the legs as if to feel, come on, lift it. Got into position early. Nice extended follow through.
Love 30.
It feels, certainly on the first day in this match, line calling has been very good.
I was just thinking that. It's all been very smooth.
Yeah.
Let first
Definitely
service.
helps having the umpire there.
Yes.
Is to play a lot of tournaments in America where they wouldn't have an umpire, and they'd have a roving, they call supervisor. Oh,
that would be...
yeah, because some players would then just wait for the supervisor to turn their back. Free for all. Because if the supervisor's trying to cast a BDI over 4 courts.
I remember hearing a story, I'm sure this was Naomi Brody, she was playing, and there was a supervisor roaming, and she'd won the set 6-love, and her opponent walked up and turned it around.
No
so she won at 6-love, and obviously supervisor was roaming. So by the time he roamed back, she said, well, I didn't do anything. And Naomi Brody was like, but so you had to...
So you have to go back to when you agreed, do you? Or
no,
what?
it stayed. The play went up, moved it around, so she won 6-love, and they got into the second set.
No.
Yeah,
Did
because
Naomi
she said,
win?
I don't know what the outcome was, but can you imagine?
That is unbelievable.
Just walk up and seeing them moving the 6 and the 0 around, and then just nothing you can do about it. Oof, that would... Oof.
40-30.
Yeah, there's an opportunity there for Houghton. Annoyed with himself that he couldn't take it.
I mean, that takes cheating to a whole new level.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, and there's nothing I could do. Absolutely nothing I could do. Because it was, you know, she said, no, I didn't do anything, that's how it was. Roaming supervisor wasn't anywhere near. That was it. So you just crack on. The look on your face, Barry. Yeah, good play going back behind from Findle-Hawkins. Got himself out of a spot and bother there, keeps the advantage and leads by a set and a break, 4-1. Welcome back to our base at the Dan Maskell Tennis Centre at Loughborough University, home of the UK Pro League Week 1 that comes to its conclusion later today. Jack Findle-Hawkins looking to book himself a spot in 5th place on the leaderboard at the end of this week.
He's well on his way. Just a couple more games.
Love 15. Love 30. $15-30. $15-40.
There's the breakthrough that he was looking for, Jack Findle-Hawkins. Gives him the double break and a couple of opportunities now to serve for 5th place at the end of week 1 of the UK Pro League.
Yeah, it's been a good set. Really good set. After the hard work at the end of the first set, but you just go back to that forehand pass that Houghton had. That's when he had the momentum. Findel-Hawkins has really kept that attacking tennis and just kept Houghton on the back foot.
Love.
Well, they'll both end with the same numbers if Findle-Hawkins can close this out, which will be 4 wins and 3 defeats over the course of the 7 days. Didn't play competitively at all in 2020, Findle-Hawkins.
All.
Yeah, that's been the key. When he has had success returning, it's when he's been able to make Findle-Hawkins hit the half volley. Getting down on that backhand, and whenever Findle-Hawkins has had that volley above the height of the net, he has been dominant.
$15.30.
Well, he's overcomplicated it.
15.40.
I mean, is it a little complacency or is it a few nerves?
Maybe a touch of both. He does have the cushion of the double break.
I mean, in this situation, you don't want to take those risks. What he's there, 15.37 for it. Hit an aggressive approach, come forward.
Let's open the door for Houghton to keep this set alive.
30-40.
Slamcha. Houghton pushes it open once more with this second break point opportunity. Nothing he could do about that serve from Findle-Hawkins. Can he get a look at something here? No,
Juice.
Slams again.
Yeah, that's more like it. Sometimes as a volley, you have to pay respect to your opponent's return. And then you just put in a volley and you say, pass me. And if they pass you twice, almost the mindset where you're going to have to keep doing it. It worked well for Pat Rafter. Was it 97, 98 US Open champion?
Great player.
Hmm?
Great player.
Yeah.
Wonderful to watch.
Advantage Houghton.
Does seem to be overcomplicating things. Another opportunity for Houghton. Third break point of this 7th game of the second set.
Deuce.
Great stretch and get from Findle-Hawkins.
Well, the first volley was miraculous. It was a good return from Houghton. And that was just all about survival.
He's definitely going to be feeling it tomorrow.
Yeah. Might need that racket that he's got to help him get out of bed.
Advantage, Findle-Hawkins.
Match point to Jack Findle-Hawkins, who'll accept the same ball back as he looks to serve his way to 5th place in the first week of the UK Pro League.
Deuce. Advantage, Houghton.
Indecision is costing him in this game.
Will it be 4th time lucky for George Houghton? Is a double break down, but this would be the start of the comeback if he can get over the finish line in this 7th game.
Deuce.
Do you know what it is? I think he just wants more tennis.
Has he not had enough?
Hasn't hit enough volleys this week.
Advantage, Findle-Hawkins.
Brings up match point number 2 for Findle-Hawkins.
He hits that particular serve well.
Deuce.
We've had 4 break points and 2 match points in the 7th game.
Advantage, Findle-Hawkins.
Third match point then for Jack Findle-Hawkins, the 26-year-old, ranked just inside the top 1,000. Looking to finish his week with a win.
Let. First service.
excellent way to finish things off.
Match.
That's what it meant to Findle-Hawkins. He crosses the finish line at the third time of asking with an ace down the centre line. And it is game, set and match for the 26-year-old who finishes his week with a win. He finishes it in 5th place in the table, 8 points and £1,500 plus his appearance fee. So a good week's work for both, but it is Barry Cow and Findle-Hawkins that walks away with the final win.
Yeah, crucial stages to the match were at the back end of that first set when Houghton had the set point. He had the forehand pass, which I think he'd probably make more than he would miss. Once Findle-Hawkins got that first set under the belt, strong in the second set, started to be even more dominant on the net. He's a good volleyer, good use of the drop volley. And also, crucially, a couple of big returns. So, positive end for Findle-Hawkins. I'm sure for Houghton, he will really benefit from the amount of tennis he's played this week. I guess now they'll hope that they can be in week 2, bit of a rest, and then they'll go again.
Yeah, a little bit of rest, a little bit of recovery. We're going to be hearing from Jack Findle-Hawkins very shortly. He finishes with 4 wins and 3 defeats, the British number 24. And we'll get a little bit of time to recover now. You'll be getting some more thoughts from Barry courtside very shortly. But now let's hear from our winner, speaking with Marcus.
Well, Jack, many congratulations. How relieved were you to finally get that one under your belt?
Yeah, definitely more enjoyment than relief, I think, that's the key. But no, yeah, such a tough one. And obviously that first set could have gone either way. But got a good lead in the second set. But, you know, tennis is so tight, especially with that third breaker looming. So just important to keep the head and keep in front.
Yeah, well, you made a fast start, which you don't always do, and of course it got nervy towards the end, so it had a little bit of everything right from the word go, didn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, as I say, the margins are so tight, you know, everyone in the 12 players are so close in level, so the gaps in margin for level are going to be so close. But yeah, just got to hold on to the leads and try and battle back when you're down. 7
matches in 7 days. You hinted when you gave the interview during the match that the body may not be feeling at its best, so be honest now. How are you?
Definitely, full disclosure, yeah, my arm has been so sore since day one. The start normally was what led to my slow starts, just I have a bit of tendonitis in my right arm. So it was just a slow whilst it kind of got warmed up. But yeah, it was normally through the middle of the match, it was okay, but definitely something I've got to take care of now.
But how much in general have you enjoyed the past few days? And what are your plans in terms of playing for the rest of the year?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, we're so fortunate to be able to compete in times like this and, you know, put on such a great event, which is awesome. So thank you to all the people that put that on. For me, I'm going to do the second week of this, so have a week off next week and then go again. But yeah, just keep trying to play matches and then look to go from there, really.
Well, well done. We've had a memo from Buckingham Palace. The Queen says, "We are amused."
Excellent.
So you've got a royal seal of approval.
Yeah, good to hear.
Well, listen, well done. It's been a long week. You've been very successful, and we look forward to seeing you back in action in week 2 in just a few days' time.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
There we go. So Jack victorious, and Barry Cam will make his way around. He's slow. He's much slower than Jack, who's played 7 games in 7 days. He only had to come 200 metres from the commentary box. Here he comes, out of breath. Keep back, Barry. Keep back, please. I'd ask you to do that normally, never mind during COVID times. How impressed were you with Jack, who admits his body's feeling a little bit tired after all those matches, but he got the job done in the end?
Yeah, because I don't think he would reveal all when we asked him that at the end of the first set. And certainly, I think in the last game, he'd almost done the hard work, a set and 5-1. And sometimes you sort of see the finishing line there and maybe just a little bit of intensity. So I'm sure he was glad that he was able to finish it at 5-1 and not have to maybe serve out for it again at 5-3. But crucially, it was at the end of the first set. And so many matches, although you can look at the scoreline and say, well, it was straight sets victory, but Houghton had that forehand pass that he just clipped the top of the net.
And we mentioned it was going to be an interesting clash of styles, and I've got to say, because you don't see it so often, it's a treat to watch Jack coming in whenever he can, and it's a return to a bygone era in so many ways.
Well, you know my feelings on it, Marcus. I've consistently said it. I've never been able to understand when people have said in the last 10 or 15 years you can't come forward. Well, of course you can come forward if you know what you're doing. And I think Federer was actually really important when he kind of changed his game a few years back and was able to be more aggressive. Australian Open and Wimbledon titles, or was it 2017? So being a good volleyer, of course, you've got to have good technique. But also being a good volleyer is being able to be proactive and actually want the ball. As soon as you wait for the ball at the net, that's when you're in trouble. And that's when poor volleyers, they're kind of a little hesitant. They're not really looking for it.
Yeah, it was great to see. And as you mentioned, we will see him again in week 2 back here at the University of Loughborough, beginning just over a week's time. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have 2 women battling for 3rd place.